It started with whispers, not the kind that you hear in a crowded room, but the kind that linger in the back of your mind, clawing at your peace. Ryan had always believed his home was a place of comfort, a sanctuary where love and trust reigned. He had grown up with his younger sister, Emily, a bright and talented girl with a heart full of dreams. They had shared childhood secrets, late-night talks, and dreams of a future where they both made their parents proud. But something had changed, slowly, subtly, almost unnoticed. Ryan first felt in the air. A shift, an unsettling presence that made his once warm home feel like a stranger's house. He brushed it off as stress. College was tough, and his part-time job demanded long hours. Maybe he was just overthinking things. But then the incidents began. It was small at first. Emily, once full of life, became distant. She avoided eye contact, stayed locked in her room for hours, and barely responded when spoken to. Their mother thought it was just teenage mood swings. Their father dismissed it as academic pressure. But Ryan saw something else. Something deeper. Something darker. One night, Ryan returned home later than usual. The house was silent, eerily so. As he walked past Emily's door, he heard murmurs, soft hushed voices. His heart pounded. Was she talking to someone? He pressed his ear against the wood, straining to hear. Then a whisper. "You must not tell anyone or else." Ryan's breath hitched. His sister's shaky voice responded, "I understand." Cold fear crawled up his spine. Who was she talking to? What was she hiding? The next morning, Emily acted as if nothing had happened. She smiled weakly at breakfast, but there was an emptiness in her eyes, a silent plea for help. Ryan couldn't ignore it anymore. He decided to watch her more closely, not out of suspicion, but out of concern. He noted the late-night phone calls, the way she jumped at sudden noises, the hollow look that replaced her once vibrant spirit. Then came the bruises. One evening, as Emily reached for a plate, her sleeve lifted, revealing a faint, purplish mark on her wrist. Ryan's stomach tightened. "Emily, what happened?" he asked, trying to keep his voice calm. She quickly pulled her sleeve down. "It's nothing," she muttered. Nothing. The most dangerous word. Ryan knew he had to dig deeper. That night, he decided to check her room while she was in the shower. He felt guilty invading her privacy, but his instinct screamed that something was wrong. Her desk was cluttered with books, her bed neatly made, nothing unusual. But as he scanned the room, his eyes landed on a small, locked box near her bedside. He hesitated. Should he open it? His fingers trembled as he picked the lock with a hairpin, a trick he had learned from childhood mischief. The lid creaked open. Inside, he found a journal. Its pages were filled with frantic scribbles, words scratched so violently that the ink had bled through. One sentence stood out, written over and over again. "I can't escape. I can't escape. I can't escape." Ryan's heart pounded. Escape from what? From whom? Before he could process, he heard footsteps approaching. He barely managed to close the box and step away before Emily entered the room. She froze, her wet hair clinging to her face. Her eyes darted to the box, then to Ryan. "What were you doing?" she whispered, fear lacing her voice. Ryan swallowed hard. "Emily, talk to me. What's going on?" For a moment, she looked like she wanted to tell him, but then the fear returned. She shook her head and turned away. "Stay out of this, Ryan," she said. But he couldn't. Not anymore. The pieces were falling into place. Someone had control over Emily, and if she wouldn't speak, he had to find the truth himself. Because whatever was happening in their home, it was bigger than just her, and he had no idea how deep the darkness went. Ryan couldn't sleep that night. The words from Emily's journal echoed in his mind. "I can't escape." What was she trapped in? And why was she so afraid? He knew he had to act, but recklessness could make things worse. If Emily was in danger, he had to be careful. The bruises, the whispered conversations, the fear in her eyes, it all pointed to something bigger than just teenage struggles. A chilling discovery. The next day, Ryan decided to follow Emily after school. He waited outside the building, keeping his distance as she walked alone. She wasn't meeting up with friends. Instead, she headed toward an abandoned warehouse near the outskirts of town. His heart pounded. What was she doing there? Emily hesitated at the entrance, then slipped inside. Ryan clenched his fists and followed, making sure to stay out of sight. Inside, the place smelled of damp wood and dust. Faint murmurs drifted through the air. Ryan moved cautiously, peeking around a stack of old crates, and what he saw sent a chill down his spine. A group of people stood in a dimly lit circle. Emily was among them, her hands clenched at her sides. In the center was a man, tall, dressed in black, with a piercing gaze that seemed to hold an unnatural power. "We all have our roles," the man said, his voice eerily calm. "You made a promise, Emily." She trembled but nodded. "I know." Ryan's breathing became shallow. Who was this man? And what had his sister gotten herself into? Suddenly, another voice spoke. "If anyone betrays us, they'll regret it." A woman in the group turned, and Ryan barely stifled a gasp. It was someone he recognized, Ms. Holloway, their school counselor. What was she doing here? The realization hit him like a punch to the gut. This wasn't just a group of troubled teens. This was something far worse. The confrontation. Ryan knew he had to get Emily out of there. But how? He couldn't just walk in. They'd see him. He needed to wait for the right moment. After what felt like an eternity, the meeting ended. As Emily walked out alone, Ryan grabbed her wrist and pulled her aside. She gasped, eyes wide with fear. "Ryan, what are you doing here?" "No, Emily, what are you doing here?" he demanded. "Who are those people? What's going on?" Tears welled up in her eyes. "You don't understand. If I tell you, they'll—" She stopped mid-sentence, her face going pale. Ryan turned and saw the man from the meeting standing a few feet away. "You shouldn't be here," the man said, his voice eerily composed. "Curiosity is dangerous." Ryan instinctively stepped in front of Emily. "Stay away from my sister." The man smirked. Brave, but foolish. Before Ryan could react, two others appeared behind him. Emily clutched his arm. "Ryan, we have to go." The man tilted his head. "You have a choice, Emily. Leave with him or stay with us. But if you leave, you know the consequences." Ryan's blood ran cold. What consequences? What had they done to her? Emily's whole body shook. She was trapped between two worlds. And Ryan could see the terror in her eyes. She wanted to escape, but she was too scared. He had to get her out. "Now! Run!" he whispered. She hesitated. "Emily, run!" And just like that, they bolted. Behind them, voices shouted. Footsteps pounded against the ground. But Ryan didn't stop. He grabbed Emily's hand and pushed forward, weaving through the dark streets until they finally reached home. They collapsed inside, gasping for breath. Ryan turned to his sister. "No more secrets. Tell me everything." Emily wiped her tears. And then, with a trembling voice, she finally spoke. It started a year ago, and what she told him next changed everything. Ryan braced himself as Emily took a deep breath. He could see the weight of fear pressing down on her. But there was something else, too. Relief. She was finally ready to talk. A dangerous invitation. "It started a year ago," Emily began, her voice barely above a whisper. "I was struggling. School, friends, everything felt meaningless. Then Ms. Holloway noticed. She told me she could help, that there was a group of people who understood what I was going through." Ryan clenched his fists. "That man, the one from the warehouse. He's in charge, isn't he?" Emily nodded. "His name is Daniel Crane. He makes you feel like you belong, like you finally matter. But then the promises start. Promises." Ryan's got twisted. You have to do things for the group. At first, it's small, keeping secrets, showing loyalty. But then it escalates. They tell you that if you leave, bad things will happen, that your family will be in danger, that you will be in danger. Ryan's stomach dropped. "Did they hurt you?" Emily hesitated. Then she pulled up her sleeve, revealing more bruises along her arm. "It's not just about control, Ryan. It's about power. And now that you know, they won't let you walk away either. Nowhere to hide." A loud bang startled them both. Someone was at the door. Ryan jumped up, heart hammering. He pulled Emily behind him. Another bang. Then a voice. Ryan. Emily. Open up. Daniel. Emily's fingers dug into Ryan's arm. They found us. Ryan's mind raced. His parents weren't home. They were out of town for the weekend. It was just the two of them. He had to think fast. He grabbed Emily's hand and whispered, "Back door, now." They moved quickly, but before they could reach it, the front door burst open. 3 figures stepped inside, Daniel, Miss Holloway, and another man Ryan didn't recognize. "No more running," Daniel said calmly, his eyes locking onto Emily. "You know what happens if you disobey." Emily trembled. Ryan positioned himself between them. "She's not going anywhere with you." Daniel sighed. "I was hoping you'd be reasonable. Ryan, you care about your sister, don't you?" Ryan didn't answer. "Then you should know that refusing us will only bring pain." Ms. Holloway stepped forward. "Ryan, this isn't just about Emily anymore. You're involved now. You can fight us, or you can accept the truth. There's no escaping this." Ryan's pulse pounded. Fear clawed at his chest. But something stronger rose within him. Determination. He had spent too long watching Emily suffer. Too long being afraid of shadows. He wasn't running anymore. The final stand. Ryan took a deep breath. "You're wrong." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "Am I?" Ryan nodded. "You control people with fear. You make them believe they're alone. But Emily isn't alone. And neither am I." Before Daniel could react, Ryan grabbed a nearby lamp and swung. The glass shattered against Daniel's shoulder. "Run, Emily." She hesitated, then bolted toward the back door. Ryan followed, heart pounding as Daniel cursed behind them. They made it outside. Ryan yanked Emily toward the neighbor's house, banging on the door. It swung open to reveal Mrs. Carter, their elderly neighbor. "Help us," Ryan gasped. "Call the police." She didn't ask questions. She just nodded and grabbed her phone. Behind them, Daniel and his followers emerged from the house, their faces twisted in fury. But then, sirens. Flashing lights flooded the street. Daniel stiffened. Ms. Holloway's face turned pale. They had lost their power. Within minutes, officers swarmed in. Daniel tried to talk his way out of it, but it was too late. Emily clung to Ryan as the police took statements. She was still shaking, but there was something in her eyes that hadn't been there in a long time. Hope. A new beginning. Days later, Emily sat across from Ryan in the kitchen. The house felt lighter, safer. "They're gone," she said, almost as if she couldn't believe it. "It's over." Ryan reached across the table and squeezed her hand. No more secrets. No more fear. She smiled for the first time in what felt like forever. "Thank you, Ryan." He shook his head. "We saved each other." The past would always be there, lingering in the shadows. But now they knew the truth, and they weren't afraid anymore. Because when you stand up to fear, when you refuse to be controlled, no darkness can hold you forever.